Friends, in 2015, a man was performing in the semi-finals of America's Got Talent. His name was Uzair Nobov. This man had become very popular on the show, but now, in the semi-finals, he was about to perform an extremely dangerous stunt. Dressed as Charlie Chaplin, he was balancing himself atop a 15-foot-tall ladder. This ladder stood without any support. A single mistake could cost him dearly. And that's exactly what happened. Suddenly, the ladder lost its balance. It tipped backward and the man fell down. Thankfully, he wasn't seriously injured, but it was clear that the man was deeply embarrassed. His stunt had failed in the semi-finals of such a huge show. 4 years later, this same man performed the same stunt on the same show again, but this time, he didn't fail. Friends, performing life-threatening stunts in front of an audience isn't easy. Many people have even died this way. We'll discuss those incidents too, but first, look at this one. This man's name was Ai Sikwe. In 2012, in China, this man performed a stunt so terrifying, it could make anyone's heart sink. He blindfolded himself and began walking backward on a rope. This rope was tied between two mountains with a 650-foot drop below. He was walking backward without any safety equipment. In his hand was only a pole to help him balance. Just imagine. There was no room for error in this stunt at all. This man walked on the rope for 50 minutes, but then a problem arose. He suddenly began feeling dizzy, and the wind was also making it hard for him to stay balanced. Only 30 meters remained, but then he suddenly slipped. Friends, even after falling from such a height, this man survived. He landed on some trees which saved his life. Another incident will shock you. In 2015, a man was performing in the semi-finals of Vietnam's Got Talent. In front of him were 5 glasses. 4 glasses had water in them, but 1 glass had acid, sulfuric acid. The man didn't know which glass contained the acid. He had to drink from each of the 4 glasses and avoid the one with acid. This wasn't a trick or an illusion. It was truly a dangerous stunt that could go wrong. And friends, it did go wrong. When the man put glass number 1 to his mouth, he suddenly started feeling unwell. That glass contained the acid. He was rushed to the hospital where he underwent treatment for 10 days. This man's name is Spencer Horseman. He is a magician and an escape artist. In 2015, he was rehearsing a stunt. He was locked inside a glass cage filled with water. Friends, this cage was suspended 30 feet above the stage. Spencer entered this water-filled cage. Chains were wrapped around his body and his hands were cuffed. He had to hold his breath underwater while unlocking 11 locks attached to his chains and cuffs and free himself. Spencer had to hold his breath for 4 minutes. Friends, he was a trained artist. He managed to open 10 locks, but while opening the 11th lock, his fingers stopped working. He was immediately pulled out of the water and the man narrowly survived. But friends, not everyone is this lucky. This incident is from India. It was April 28th, 2013. In India, a man was about to perform a dangerous stunt. His name was Shailendranath Roy. This man used to pull heavy objects with his hair. For instance, he once pulled a train carriage using only his hair. Friends, on this day, he was going to hang by his hair from a wire above a river and move from one point to another. This wire was set 70 feet high, but there was a problem. There was no safety equipment for this stunt, nor any backup plan in case of an accident. Shailendranath Roy just wanted to set a world record no matter what. Friends, this man hung from the wire by his hair, like hanging from a zip line. But suddenly, the man got stuck in midair. In fact, the pulley mechanism of this stunt had jammed. Roy was now hanging in the air by his hair. Immense pressure was building on his head. This man was now trying to move forward on the wire using his hands, but his condition kept worsening every second. He hung in the air like this for 20 minutes. It took 45 minutes to bring him down. He was taken to the hospital, but friends, this man had already died. Hanging by his hair caused him to suffer a heart attack, and he died right there. Friends, in 2011, an air show was taking place in America. In this show, a man named Todd Green was going to perform a dangerous stunt, standing atop a moving plane and grabbing hold of a helicopter above. The helicopter had to be above and the plane below. An important part of this stunt was that the plane and helicopter had to fly perfectly in sync. Even the slightest mistake could cause a disaster. This man successfully performed this stunt twice. The people below applauded. But friends, sadly, on the third attempt, while grabbing the helicopter, he fell 200 feet down to the ground. Todd Green died. Finally, let's know about one more such incident, a tragic air show story. In 2013, another air show was taking place in America. Here, a woman named Jane Wicker was about to perform. This woman used to perform stunts while standing on a moving plane. This was extremely dangerous, and on this day too, what everyone feared happened. Friends, in this show, the plane was being flown by a pilot named Charlie. The two had performed together many times before. The plane took off. Jane sat on the wing of the plane. Pilot Charlie turned the plane, but at that very moment, the plane crashed to the ground. A loud explosion occurred and the plane was destroyed. Jane died not because of her own mistake, but because the plane crashed. Pilot Charlie also died in this tragic accident.